Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to my channel. I am back again with another video. Y'all know your girl had to take a break, but I came right back. This time, I got something different for you guys. I got another angle that I want to come at you guys with. Y'all, we're going to have to start thinking about our lives without these folks, because it's soon to come. As you can see, the biggest article of the week has been the low birth rates in their community and the panic that's going on in their community. Now, we already know the true people that are indigenous to these lands. I've already proven that in multiple videos. So it's time for us to move on from that and start voicing and proclaiming this knowledge out loud, because these folks are falling off, y'all. And they knew this the whole time. They just never told their descendants the truth. But the ancestors of these people, they know the truth. They knew that they were only going to be able to occupy these lands for a certain amount of time. That would explain why they don't invest any money in the infrastructure of America. There's no advancement here. China is buying silver over market value. And we're going to get into that as to why. But first, I wanted to dig into this low birth rate within their community for the first time in the U.S. history. And really, you guys, this isn't the first time, because they have been going through a low birth rate for a very long time. I'll say since the 50s, their birth rate has been dropping ever since. So this is not the first time in U.S. history. That's another distorted lie there. But yeah, we should start thinking about our futures, you guys, and what it would look like without these folks being in charge and running things, or even being here. I don't think us as black people, we ever really thought about that, because we never really put ourselves first. So I just want to come at you guys with that thought. Also, I wanted to add how these people are over $38 trillion in debt. I just want to know, how is that sustainable? How can you guys run a country like this? And I'm sorry, but $38 trillion, how are they going to pay that back, y'all? I told you, because their plan was never to stay here. Their plan was just to use up all the resources, because these were the ancient lands of Mu, or Atlantis, the lands of the West. They knew who these people were over here. And they colonized and then stole our money, which would be the $38 trillion that these people spent up. And notice how these people just spend money up. You know what I'm saying? Where did the $38 trillion go? Because we have no new technology in this country, no new buildings. Our buildings are falling apart. No new leading institutions, nothing going on over here for real. And I don't want to hear about trading it with other countries, because remember, they're all Psalms 83. And if you guys don't know what Psalms 83 is, I'm going to post it for you. This is what these folks all around the world were saying when they came over here. See, Psalms 83. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. You see that? So everybody came together and said, let's enslave the black people. We are only talking about one group of people that have been slaves. Everybody know them as a slave, and we all know what group of people we're speaking about, because we can't even be talking about the Hamites, because according to the Hamites, they've never been a slave either. We're talking about the least of these people, which would be us. Okay? So, I got a couple news stories and a couple commentaries from some people in the collective that I want to share with you guys, and then I'll be back with my commentary.
A major demographic shift is underway in our country. A new study from the Zucker School of Medicine finds that for the first time, minority births now make up the majority nationwide. Researchers analyzed more than 33 million births over the past 8 years. Eyewitness News anchor Sandra Bookman has a story.
White births in the U.S. have fallen below 50% for the first time ever. That's among the findings in a new study published today by professors from the Zucker School of Medicine at Hofstra Northwest.
I'm just going to cut in here.
Researchers, Dr.
Notice how they said below 50%. Keep in mind that they never give real raw data. So never trust their numbers. It's probably way significantly lower than 50%.
33 million births in the U.S., tracking trends by the mother's race and ethnicity. It revealed white births at 49.6%, while other groups taken together, including Hispanic, Black, and Asian, made up 50.4% of all births. The analysis also offered an explanation for the shifting demographics.
Among Hispanic women, they have children usually at an earlier age, and they have more children than white women have. White women usually delay childbirth. It's a known fact, and they have less children.
Coupled with well-documented disparities when it comes to maternal health for minority women and children, Dr. Grunebaum says these findings aren't just statistics. He says current efforts to restrict immigration and cut Medicaid hurt the very women keeping American births alive and growing the country.
If you really want to increase birth, if you want to have more babies, as this government has repeatedly said they want to, then we need to address these issues.
Sandra Bookman, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
That makes more sense, doesn't it? In this country, we have seen who white people are when they are the majority, when they are the ones who have the power in numbers. We have decades of pictures and horrendous reports and accounts on who white people are when they have power. But their mistake is in thinking that black and brown people are that if they ever have power. They think that we will do to them what they have done to us. I'm not the first one to say that. Louis Farrakhan and many others before me have said that. But it's really more of a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more they panic, the more aggressive they become, the more violent they become, the more they push black and brown people to a space in where they don't want to go. So much so that it becomes not about enacting revenge, but about survival. And in that survival retaliation, I guess, they then get to frame it as, you see, we told you guys that you guys would be like that. But it's more so of a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more they push because they're afraid that we're going to be that way, the more they turn us that way.
We told y'all a long time ago that everything was about race, and y'all told us that we were crazy. You gaslit us, as a narcissist usually does, and you told us that we were just pulling the race card. Well, I would like to show you something. This is from a news posting today from a news channel that is talking about the declining in the white race, the declining of birth rates among white babies, how it is now under 50%. But you told us It was never about race. You told us that we were just pulling the race card, that we were being victims. Out of all the inventions that y'all want to lay claim to, racism is not one of them. Race is not one of them, although we all know that it would not be here without y'all's creating it. And so now the fear has become so pungent, so real, so tangible that white people, the white race as it exists, is becoming extinct. So much so that you are willing to put it in the news and name it. Literally say, white babies. I need you to understand, I need all of us to understand that this was always the point. This was always the goal. Because if they lose the majority, which they're not the global majority, we know that. We are the global majority. But if they lose the illusion of being the racial majority in America, then they lose control of who gets to be seen as the default American. And there is power in numbers. And when we outnumber them, this is when we see the panic kick into overdrive, when we see them passing legislation to take away bodily autonomy of women in general, but specifically white women and black and brown women, indigenous women, because they don't want us to have the option to have reproductive rights. While they also don't want white women to have the option of saying, no, I don't want to have babies. And I posted a video explaining about how this new project, Saving America Through the Family, is their way of pushing for the rehabilitation of white babies in America, the establishing the white race as the majority, and how they are implementing this and pushing this to become law, just like they're pushing everything they planned for in the goddamn Project 2025. Okay? Now, and Project Esther. Now, what we need to understand is that these white women are being targeted because they are the womb in which has to create their blonde-haired, blue-eyed white babies. What you also need to keep in mind is that not every white is going to be the right white. Please understand what I just said. There was a time in our history, in history in general, when white people were not one collective. Not every European ethnic group was included under the subcategory or the racial category of white. You had to earn that. You had to be allowed to assimilate into whiteness, the racial category they created, right? Because race is not real. It's not biological. It's a made up social construct to categorize human beings so that you can justify subjugating them and enslaving them and exploiting them. Okay. Now, again, what I said is not every white is going to be the right white. We saw that video of somebody going and choosing, filling out paperwork, and the drop-down menu asked, what kind of white are you? We've never seen that for white people before. White people have never seen that for white people before. And yet here we are. Because again, when they talk about the default human, when they talk about American, they're talking about a very specific kind of white. So, like I said, black women have been saying it for decades. It's always been about race. Everything is about race. And I truly and sincerely hope that y'all are now seeing it for what it is and what it always has been. America is not doing this out of nowhere. This is not suddenly happening. This is what America has always been. You were just too coddled by comfort and white supremacy to understand what was going on, to see what was going on, because you didn't have to. But now that it's affecting you, because you are also part of the plan, now you're starting to realize what's going on. I really hope that this lands. Because as we know, they're trying to suppress anybody talking about anything of substance.
I remember being in graduate school when I first learned that by 2050, white people were going to be the minority in the United States. And I remember that my first initial reaction to learning this was, well, that's not good. Not because it's not okay for white people to be the minority. My response was strictly based around my fear about what white men who wanted to uphold white supremacy and the patriarchy, what they would do in order to make sure that that didn't happen. Because there's no one as dangerous in the world than a white man who is on a mission to uphold the system that gives him power over others. In my last video, I talked about white supremacy and the patriarchy and white women's roles within that system. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. In this video, I'm going to continue the focus on white supremacy and the patriarchy, but we're also going to be talking about the declining birth rates amongst white women. For centuries in the United States, white male dominance has been held through a very tight system. Control of land, control of labor, control of law, control of women's bodies, and control over reproduction. Now, white women play a very specific role within this system, not as a white man's equal. Now, that does not mean a white woman does not have power through proximity, does not already have privilege of her own because of her skin color, but we are talking about the fact that a white woman does not have the equal status and power of a white man. Women in this system are really these stabilizers, right? They are the reproducers of the next generation. White women's role is really to help solidify the white man's power and to make sure that it continues to go on for generations and generations. Oh, when we're looking at the declining birth rates of white children in the United States, when we're looking at the decline in white women being willing to get married, when we're looking at the way that white women are pushing off having kids, they're very career focused. They're more concerned about making sure that if they were to be on their own, could they float themselves? Could they sustain themselves economically, right? Our focus has really shifted from kind of just being only reproducers and upholding whatever our husbands wanted us to uphold and moving more towards an autonomous driven life. So white women not having children is a very big deal in the context of upholding white supremacy and the patriarchy. So we're going to talk about 4 different areas of that. Okay, 1, there's a fear around numbers. Whiteness has historically functioned around having power because we are the majority. When white people become the minority, there runs the risk of the assumption that laws, culture, the way that we do things will not be centered around whiteness and what benefits the white person. And the reason why this feels so threatening for white people, especially white men, is because for a lot of them, equality has never been the goal, right? They want to uphold their status and their power, and they do that through numbers. The second is reproduction, and I've touched on this a little bit already. When white women are not reproducing, that's a huge issue for the white supremacy patriarchy because we're not giving them the next generations of soldiers to uphold this harmful system. That's why you'll see a lot of what's going on right now is targeting women's reproductive rights, reproductive autonomy, and the media is really framing white women not having children as something negative, as something woke, as something that white women are just too liberated. We're becoming too autonomous. We're scandalous. We're unhappy because we're not falling into our traditional roles of being a subservient wife and mass producing babies. Controlling women's bodies overall has very much historically been a way to stabilize the hierarchy of power. Third, the protector narrative is failing. And I talked about this in my last video, but if you haven't seen it, the protector narrative that we need white men to be our protectors and our leaders, it's all collapsing. When white women are seeing domestic violence statistics, they're seeing marriage inequity, they're seeing the imbalance in the emotional labor, and they're seeing the political disregard for women's safety, the narrative that the white man is our protector and thus we should be compliant and subservient to him and we should put our heads in the sand in order to gain safety and protection through his proximity, right? That entire narrative is falling apart. Through this new lens of awareness, right? Through having internet access, TikTok, women are able to speak out. Women are talking to each other about things like this. The average white woman is coming to realize that the narrative and the story she's been fed about a white man being her protector, or that white men are historically trying to do right by us, it's all false. But to summarize, when women stop believing that male authority equals safety, then compliance from those same women starts to drop. And then number 4, and this is the part that a lot of people really don't like to talk about, especially people who are trying to facilitate the white supremacy patriarchal system. White women's alliance and allegiances are shifting. The shift is that women are waking up, and unfortunately, it does sometimes take things like the tragedy of Renee Good being murdered in order for some white women to take their head out of the sand and look around and realize that they have more in common with other groups of people than they ever did with the white man. So in summary, right, by 2050, white people will be the minority, and people who, and there's women included in this, right? In my last video, I talked about how some white women are evil and vile, and they relish in the power hierarchies, and they relish in the proximity to power and in harming and hurting others. They get off on it, and they don't want to relinquish their power and their privilege. And they will be the ones aiding other white supremacist males in trying to uphold the system that keeps them in power, keeps them in the top of the hierarchy. And these will be the people who will start to really go after the fact that white women are moving away from marriage, they're declining to have children, and they're really focusing on living a more autonomous life and self-sustainability, which threatens the entire system that the white man needs in order to stay on top.
But, you know, when you talk about the birth rates, you're 100% right that the birth rates are a problem. The white people are not having kids.
And I got a news flash for you. Why don't you call out why the birth rates are so negative?
Why?
Feminism, number one reason. Feminism to the extreme, the emasculation of men. The second.
Notice how they never put the Most High in the mix. He's blaming their low birth rate on feminism, Hollywood, all these superficial things, but they never think about the Lord that they say they know as well. Let me tell you something. Let me show you guys something. This is what's happening to them. Deuteronomy 28. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land. Okay? The Most High considers barrenness as a curse. See, they don't ever think about the Most High because they are not spiritual. Because remember, I debunked how they are the real 3/5 of a human. They try to put that on black people, but no, that's really them. So let's continue.
Let's talk about how overturning Roe v. Wade has nothing to do with states' rights and everything to do with white women.
Welcome back to another day in white supremacy MAGA hell. And in MAGA hell, the most radical thing a white woman can do right now is to refuse to have children. Whether you accept this as truth or not, it doesn't really matter, but it is necessary. Your wombs have been taken over by your men. You don't have control over your own bodies. And you're essentially literally being used as incubators, specifically for white males, and they want you to breed white men with no empathy, okay? Understand what I'm saying to you. They want you to breed psychopaths so they can stay in power. And they've reduced your purpose as a woman and for girls to just be baby makers. Is that really the life that you want for yourself and for your daughters? Because your men don't have good character, you are literally producing demons into this reality, and we all have to suffer because of it. So if you really want to do something radical, stop having kids. And if you already have kids, raise them with empathy to the best of your ability. It is necessary that white children, especially white men, white male children, learn empathy and learn how to feel for others. Y'all take the cake on breeding the serial killers, the pedophiles, the monsters, the rapists. Okay, y'all take the cake on all of that. All right? White men commit those crimes in higher numbers than anybody else. This is not a debate. This is just facts. And those men are coming from your wombs. I need y'all to take accountability on this and understand. Okay? I need you to take your power back and you say what goes in and what comes out of your womb. And yes, it is that serious. Okay? Do not have any more children And if you really want kids, adopt them. There are plenty of kids in the world. Adopt them. Don't adopt no black ones because y'all are not qualified to raise them. But go adopt white children and raise them. There are plenty of white kids in the system. But as far as having more children of your own, y'all need to cut that shit out. Y'all need to cut it out yesterday. All right? Again, the most radical thing a white woman can do right now is to stop having children.
They are becoming the minority. Shout out to Brandon, who we just interviewed, where he was talking about we're coming up on the minority majority, where in a couple years, in the first time in history, minorities are going to be the majority, right? By 2040. They know this. Their birth rates are dropping. So now what they got to do, start eliminating us from being seen so we don't realize we got the numbers. That's what's really going on.
Remember when Trump slid that new bill where if you start having babies, I'm going to throw you $1,000. Come on now, to keep popping white babies out.
Exactly. You see Elon Musk using Twitter and X to push that agenda too. If you follow him, well, you got to follow him because if you got X, he makes you follow him. You can see him talking about the birth rates. They are afraid of going extinct because at the birth rates that they have, they're going to be extinct.
All right, hey y'all. So y'all know I posted a video earlier about this, right? And in the video, I spoke on me not agreeing with interracial relationships, and I stand on that till the day that I die. Now, of course, there's some coon black men who just feel the need to date white women because you're so insecure within yourself that you can't step into your full masculine energy. So you reject black women because you have to rise to the bar instead of lowering your standard. Yeah. I find it weird how y'all get up here and say, well, it's about love. Just go with where you're loved. There are grown men that love little girls too, and should they be doing that? Haven't we been posting content about grown men messing with children, and they love that? Are you going to support that too? Love is not the reason why you do anything, and that's exactly why y'all end up in the situations that y'all end up in, and with people that you truly should not be with because I love them, but are they good for you? No. Right now, crack kids love crack, but should you be doing crack? No. Kids love eating sugar, but at some point you have to cut it off because why? It does not become healthy for your body and your growth. And as black people, you should not be mixing your secretions with white people, period. That's a contradiction of the blackness. I don't understand why y'all are so butthurt by people wanting to stay true to their core, which is why I would never fight against a white man who does not believe in interracial dating. Baby, keep your people over there, sir. Control your white girls. Why are they coming after my black sons? Keep your kids over there. Every time I make a video, it shows why America is going in the direction that it's going in. Every single American citizen mostly is making choices and decisions based off of their emotions. And then when your emotions no longer like that choice, you want to leave and make it a big old issue. No, stop making choices and decisions off of love and understanding. No, there's rules and regulations. White people should stay with their own race. Stop dating outside your race. If you need to date outside your race, I'm looking at you as an insecure person who has not done their growth and development. There is nothing that a white man can give me that a black man can't. I'm never going to listen to a white man how I would listen to a black man. Because when I feel a white man talking to me, bitch, I'm not your slave. But when a black man talks to me, okay, sir, I might listen. I might. Oh my God, I'm with this white person because I love them. No, you with them because they do weird shit. They pay you, sir. You're a black man that likes getting bent over and a white woman's gonna do it because I'm not finna do it. There's no reason why a grown black man should be on social media saying, well, I get bent over. I let people lick my butt. You're a man. Why are you doing that? That's why y'all over there. Because they have no rules and no morals and no direction. Over here, you gotta stand stern. I don't care. I don't care how rich the white man is. I don't care how fine he is. I'd rather be with a black man that works at McDonald's and we struggling every single day. I will never choose a white man over a black man. I don't care what you do, what you have for me. I don't care.
All right, everybody, that's all I got for you today. But I really want you guys to think about this topic. Really and truly, because a lot of this crap is going to be over. And then the reality is going to set in that these folks got to go. They have to be removed off this land because it's not theirs. They are now in the curses. Okay? Nothing that they do is going to work. They can keep trying to put these commercials out that they got 10 years, the next 20 years, the next 50 years, we're going to come out with this. They don't have that much time, y'all. Even the Bible say they're going to lie until the end. To the very, very, very crumb end. They're going to keep the charade up. But we know in reality, their time is up. And we, as a nation that knows the truth, we need to start being vocal about this truth and getting it out there, because we already know we the indigenous people. We're not even going to argue with nobody about that. All you have to do is just go to the public library and pick up a damn book. It's really not that hard. You see, they think they could keep going in this wicked system, but they don't understand that this wickedness is so high that nature can't even function. Naturally, this shit is going to ricochet. It's just not right. And yes, these lands are magical. Absolutely. These lands are magical. Yep. Because they kicking their asses off this land. And yes, we have a God, the one true living God. He is our God. He isn't everybody's God. All these 3/5 came over to ancient Mu, aka Atlantis, took their knowledge, took their history, and did a destiny swap, pretended to be the original people, while the original people, they made slaves for 540 years, right? Now, that time is up. And that 36 trillion or 38 trillion, the reason why they're going to have 1,000 years of curses is because they got to pay all that back. They're going to have to pay that $38 trillion back to these lands, to the rightful owners of these lands. Which is why the word says those that put us into slavery, they themselves will go into slavery. Yeah. It's time. They could run from the truth, but you can't change prophecy. All right, y'all. That's all I got for you guys tonight. I will see you guys in the next video tomorrow. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. If you like more videos like this from me, put your comments and your thoughts in the comment section. I read every last one of them, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Holla.